Hi all. In this video, we're going to look at a minor point about Booleans. I think it's kind of fun, but it is also a bit confounding when you first start working with these because you can accidentally invoke this rule that Python has without even realizing you're doing it when you don't intend to do it, and then it's kind of a problem. So what is the rule? Well, the rule is that any piece of data needs to be able to be considered as true or false, as equivalent to true or false. So in my head, I tend to think of this as certain values are true-ish and other values are false-ish. They're not exactly true or false, but Python will treat them as true or false if you put them into a conditional or similar sorts of statements. So we're just going to look at some examples from my notes. All right, so things that are true-ish or false-ish. Any value has to be evaluated as true or false. If you put it in, because there's no way to tell what kind of value you're putting into a Boolean statement, like or a conditional. Any value in Python needs to be able to be considered as true or false. Because if it wasn't that way, then conditionals could crash regularly because you could put in strange kinds of data. And maybe that would be wiser, but Python's very flexible as a language, and a lot of Python programmers like that about it and find ways to use it. So let's take a look at this example. This is a fairly simple example. I have a big for loop here, and what I've done is I've made a list with a lot of different kinds of values in it. It actually goes way off here to the right because I didn't want to break it up into multiple lines. So we start with true and false themselves, the constants, the Boolean constants, and then we have some numbers, 0, 5, -2, 0.0, 12.5, -0.0001, and we have some strings, the empty string A, the string containing false, the empty list, string, and then lists containing true and false, and just a list of data. And what I'm doing inside here is I just have a little Boolean, a little conditional, and I say if data. I'm not comparing the data into anything. I'm just sticking that data right into the test part of the conditional, which is supposed to be a Boolean expression. So what happens with Python is it says, okay, let's interpret everything as Boolean expressions. So it will print equals true in all caps if the data value itself is considered true-ish, and it will print false in all caps if that data value is considered false-ish. So down below here we can see what was actually printed out. So as you might expect, true is considered true, false is considered false. Notice that 0 is considered false, 5 is true, -2 is true, so any non-zero integer is considered true. 0 is false. 0.0 is also false, but positive and negative floating point numbers that are not 0 are also considered true. So you can see there's sort of a division being made here between 0 values being akin to falseness, but non-zero values being considered true enough, true-ish. All right, next we have strings. The empty string is considered false. A is considered true. Ooh, this one looks tricky. That one right there, that was a string containing the letters F-A-L-S-E. It was not the constant false. It was a string instead. It's a non-empty string, so it's considered true. An empty list is false. Non-empty lists are true. All right. What I want you to realize out of this is that there's sort of a nice basic rule in Python. And the rule is if the piece of data is akin to 0, if it's false, if it's 0, if it's empty, an empty string, an empty list, an empty anything, then we consider that to be false if we have to treat it as a Boolean. Anything that is not 0, non-empty, we consider to be true. All right. There are some places where we actually make use of this, but it's generally more often the case that you will accidentally run into this because you'll forget to write a whole Boolean expression, and it will take, say, a single variable that has some random kind of data in it and treat it as a Boolean expression, and you don't know that that's happened. So this is just something to watch out for, but it's kind of an interesting and fun little quirk of Python, that it allows almost any kind of data to go into that position and be used as if it's true or false. And you just have to remember the rules as a programmer for what it considers true and what it considers false. I will see you very soon.